Alan Asbury wins the last video. I've been watching from afar, and I gotta say, I never thought they could do it. It just goes to show, if you never give up, your dreams can come true.
Daddy handed me a worn-out book, said, boy, there's more than luck. Learned about a man in Babylon who never once got stuck. He said gold will come to the working hand if you save a tenth of all you earn, my man. And I've been picking that old guitar since I first took that lesson to heart.
This is going to be a good ponder. Not only will it be entertaining, but there's going to be a lot of takeaway. Happy Saturday, friendo. Pull up a hot cup if you got one. Turn up the volume. It's okay. I keep it family friendly for the most part. Hit all those buttons if you would. Bells and likes, whatever. Not only does it grow this wealthy community of ours, but the analytics will give me a bit of an ego boost while I'm at work all day. And don't put all the work on me. I'm definitely not the smartest one in the room. I'm just a guy with a crap job who knows how to edit video on my iPhone 11. Add some dimension to this conversation, if you would, in the comments below. All right, so you hit that like button. Very good. Thank you. Let's get started. So what are we going to ponder today, brains? The same thing we ponder every morning. How to take over our wealth. Wait, don't go. I'll get started. I got 5 things for you today, friendo. 5 laws. 5 laws of gold. Not rules. These are laws. What's the difference? Well, you can break a rule. I'm not saying you should. But you can take it upon yourself to drive a little faster than that speed limit. Or maybe walk a little too briskly by that pool. But try breaking the law of gravity. Or try breaking one of these laws of gold. I probably would not recommend that. But maybe these laws are not as good as I think. So you let me know. I'll keep an eye out for your comments below. Okay, so let's get started. What's that first law?
Don't forget, only invest where the path is set, where folks know what they're talking about. Not a shady deal you'll later doubt. And the 5th says clear, don't lose your coin to sweet talk tricks or a line conjoint. Gold don't stick around a greedy fool. It loves a man who keeps his cool.
That's not the first law, but I thought I'd turn that part of the song up. I think I'll leave that whole song up at the end of the video. All right, here we go. Number 1, gold comes gladly and increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. Translation, in case you don't speak Shakespearean or Thespian or whatever that was. Set aside 10% on payday. Every payday. If someone just randomly gives you $1, well, they didn't randomly give you $1. They gave you 90 cents. You set that dime aside. I was told this when I was young. I didn't listen. It sounded boring, insignificant. 10%, it seemed like pittance. Who cares? It's nothing. What difference could that make? Give me some real advice. Let me tell you something if you don't already know. I'm going to talk at you a minute. When you decide to live off 90% of what you earn, and think about it real quick. Can you not live off 90% of everything? If you just ate 90% of every meal, would you starve? If you poured out 10% of your coffee for your homies who ain't around no mo, could you still just drink that 90% of the cup and make it through your day? Could you just watch 90% of the movie and maybe not sit in the theater and watch all the credits waiting for some tidbit at the very end? I want to get out before everyone starts leaving the theater. There's going to be a line at the bathroom, and I drank 90% of this large soda. You get the idea. When you decide 10% of what you earn ain't going nowhere, look at the calendar and see what the date is, because that day, it's a big deal. That day was the day that changed your life. When you decide 10% of everything you earn goes into your investments. It's like a wizard's spell. We'll just call it magic, because who wants to deal with all that math? In my old age or older age or whatever it is, it ain't young. I've really learned not only to appreciate, but to respect subtlety. A person can hammer on a rock and eventually break it. So does consistent wind water, and temperature changes. Just over time, a gentle breeze, a light rain here and then, some cold nights and some warm days, nothing alarming. The rocks get worn down or they break, the sidewalks and the roads crack. Even homes over time will wither away if no one keeps up with the maintenance. It's subtle, and again, not alarming. But these forces of nature, they will cause tipping points. The erosions and cracks one day crumble loudly as the rocks finally give way and part of a mountain comes crashing down. Consistency trumps Herculean tasks. It's not Hollywood. It does not make for a great story. Actually, neither does Hollywood much these days. Maybe that was a bad example. It's just not a great story. People probably are not going to care that you save 10% each week, just like they won't pay attention to the slight breeze or the light rains. But they'll notice when the mountain comes crashing down on their foolish village. Such is the power of unimpressive subtlety. Such is the power of investing 10% of what you earn. Oh, and investments earn over time. And according to the law, out of those earnings, 10% should be reinvested. That's right, a lion's share portion left over. You can go do what you want with it. Me, I usually reinvest it. But think about all of that and leave a comment below. Oh, I'll add one more thing before I get to the next law, finally. If you're not already saving and investing 10% of what you earn, maybe don't get too overzealous in the beginning. Just maybe. It's up to you. This is not financial advice. I just advise you to think. 10% may seem easy and unimpressive, so you may be tempted to put a large portion of your pay into investments. If you go gung-ho charging in like Hercules, it makes for a good story, but you might overextend yourself. You need some of that cash back, so you go dipping into your investment fund. Investment fund is for growing, not dipping into. You don't want to start a habit of doing that. In a lot of ways, we're like a dog. We're very easy to train. If you don't think so, well, you're probably being trained right now. Don't train yourself to dip into your investment fund, but I'm sure you already know this. So I'll move on.
He said gold will come to the working hand if you save a tenth of all you earn, my man. And I've been picking that old guitar since I first took that lesson to heart.
I hope you got that. That was important. This next one, it ain't easy. At least, I don't think it's easy. If you think it's easy, by all means, I can't wait to read your comment. The second law of gold. Gold labors diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. Translation. You gotta put that money to work. And it's not easy being a boss. I don't want to be no boss. I follow a rule. If I'm in charge of you, well, you're my responsibility then. And if you've been following the channel for a while, you know I'm no fan of responsibilities. Perhaps if the pay is worth it, but no responsibilities for responsibility's sake. Sounds ridiculous, I know. But people, they love their titles. I'll take the power and the pay. The king, he can keep his crown. It's heavy, makes my neck sore. Just give me the wealth, and I care not who is king. Ugh, this book has me talking like it. I don't have a lot to say on this law. It's pretty much up to you to figure it out. Everyone kind of earns differently. I mean, there are some similarities. But when it comes to earning, we each pretty much have to find our own path. Anyone that already knows something probably ain't gonna tell you. Why train a competitor, right? I do have some thoughts on this law. And it's important to remember, this is a law of gold. If you're here now listening to this, I'm sure you already know to put your filthy fiat promissory debt notes to work. But this law says to put our gold to work. My gold ain't done nothing this year, but I feel like it's been working, at least in petrodollar terms. So I guess if I were to put it to work, it would have to do better than just sitting here. And I don't mean it would just automatically do better. I mean, I would need it to do better than just sitting here, because it's doing a real good job just sitting here. At the moment, yes indeedy. If I were to reinvest it, it would have to be in something I think would do better. And there probably is a lot of things that could do better. I'll ponder on that because I do want to multiply my gold. Oh, the irony in that law. Who would have thought a law of gold would be to try to prevent it from being inert? That's what gold does. It's definitely something to ponder about.
Second law says make your savings grow. Don't let your treasure just sit slow. Put it to work, let it earn its kin, like horses breeding in a prairie wind.
Alrighty, moving right along. The third law of gold. Gold clings to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling. Translation: if you can't protect her, she don't want to be around you. And if you don't know how to handle her, well, you need the advice of men who do. That's just how it is. I didn't make the law. So I guess we got to be cautious with our gold. And maybe don't just throw it into investments we don't understand. Remember, gold did pretty fine on its own this year. By the way, today is Saturday, August 2nd, 2025. It's already August. Where does the time go? If time's gonna fly, then my stack shall pile high. Yeah, so there's no need to rush. Like I said, gold did pretty good this year. Warren Buffett once said, the stock market is a no-called strike game. Meaning, you could stand there at the plate letting ball after ball fly by you, even if they were good pitches. It's not 3 strikes. It's as many as you want. So relax. You got time. Time to learn all about that investment, that market, that business that you're going to try to take a swing at. Don't let things like FOMO force you to move. FOMO is fear of missing out. It's okay. There's always going to be another opportunity. Scarcity is a sales pitch. Relax. Don't believe anyone that says opportunities are all running out. At the same time, try not to be too inert, all right? Keep in mind, I ain't telling you what to do. I'm basically talking to myself here. The ramblings of a guy with his iPhone and coffee in the morning. And you get to listen in. What a world we live in, huh? I think you're lucky, but that's just my opinion. Speaking of opinion, part 2 of that law. It says you want the advice of men wise in its handling. Don't look at me. Like I said, I'm just a guy with a crap job talking to his iPhone in the morning. I have invested 2 ounces of my gold. I sold 2 ounces when it was $2,500. Relax, that's only half the story. Much of what I bought with it has doubled. Not all of it, but I'll let you know how it goes. And I'll tell you the truth. I don't mind being laughed at or ridiculed once in a while. I know I'm a ridiculous human. No offense if you're human too. This is great, right? Just a couple humans chopping it up, trying to multiply our gold. I'll talk more on this, but I think I should read the next law first, because it kind of fringes on the subject of advice.
Then the third one hits like a freight train's roll. Protect your stash, don't lose control. Seek wise advice, don't play no game with silver tongues that promise fame.
All right, Law 4. Gold slips away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. Translation: if you invest in things you don't understand or without guidance, you will likely lose your money. This is a warning against ignorance and speculation. Study before you invest. Trust but verify. Trust but verify. That's my main takeaway from this law. An old friend once told me, if you're gonna get killed, go to the butcher. So what the heck does that mean? I used to get my car repaired by self-proclaimed mechanics in their yards. And self-proclaimed mechanics with a garage. It was their business, but they still were not good mechanics. But they had no problem taking good money. I'm sorry, good filthy fiat promissory debt note pieces of paper. There, I feel better. How about you? And maybe they did the job quote-unquote cheaper than a mechanic, like a skilled mechanic that would really charge me quote-unquote more or a lot. But what do you think happened many times when I got the cheap help? If you said shoddy work and lots of wasted time, ding, 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 you are correct. The same thing can happen when you buy cheap products. I'm not saying that there's not deals out there, but for the most part, there's not. Or what is a deal is not obvious at first. It's been my experience that cheap things often have to be replaced faster. Not only do you have to rebuy them, but you also have to spend more time sorting it out. Time is money too, and sometimes it's more valuable. If your wealth is still kind of low, you'll see what I mean one day. Or if you're super busy trying to get some wealth, well, you already know what I mean. Many times, it's just better to buy the higher quality product or get the higher quality service and just get it over with and know the job has been done right. So now you can move on to more important things. So if you know you're going to get killed by the purchase or the expense, you may as well just go to the butcher. He'll be sure to take you out swiftly. The kill will be clean. You won't have to take a beating first and waste a lot of time trying to save filthy fiat. when I hear someone that says they cannot afford to buy the higher quality item that they need. I think it's interesting because I feel like I cannot afford to buy the cheaper item because I don't want to keep buying it over and over again.
The fourth one's simple, don't forget. Only invest where the path is set, where folks know what they're talking about. Not a shady deal you'll later doubt.
All right, let's wrap this up with law number 5. I've been working on this for hours. It's time to get something to eat. You did hit that like button, right? It's okay, I forget too sometimes. You're always generous with the likes, friendo, and it shows. I'm impressed. You're still here. I think you're gonna be someone someday, or you already are. I know one thing, the people I see daily, they're not interested in the laws of gold. They love their fiat. Keep in mind, this isn't just the laws of gold. I mean, in these old days, gold was money. These could just as easily be the laws of silver. Or, if we must, these can be the laws of filthy fiat promissory debt notes. If you are playing with paper cash, well, you probably can't stand at that plate too long. Before you swing, you'll get eroded. All right, law number 5. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who follows the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts in his own inexperiences and romantic desires in investment. Translation: don't chase unrealistic returns. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Emotional investing, greed, or trusting smooth talkers can wipe you out fast. Do I know any smooth talkers on here that get people emotional? You know, maybe make them think the world is ending and they gotta buy that silver from their bullion dealer really quickly? Or maybe they tell you the price is gonna go up so much that you need to buy it now. Appealing to that greed. Have I heard anyone like that? Oh, yeah, almost all of them now. Don't worry, this channel will never sell out to bullion dealers or mining companies. I'll tell you something about unrealistic returns or unrealistic gains. If you do your due diligence and you invest over a long period of time, and sometimes too much time doesn't have to go by, you are likely to experience some unrealistic gains. So getting unrealistic gains is not the same as chasing after them. You're gonna do well. Stay grounded. Think long term. Remember, I'm talking to myself here, but I'm so glad that you're here watching and listening. All right, friendo, now I'm talking to you. Are you gonna leave some comments below? I wanna hear what you're thinking, or I wanna read what you're thinking. Are you new here and you enjoyed yourself? Well, I hate to break it to you, not every video is like this one, but I do try to show up every day. But feel free to join us. Hit that subscribe button. And comment new guy down below. Make sure you go greet the new guy, friendo. I know there's a lot of new guys nowadays. No one said building a wealthy community was going to be easy, but it'll be worth it. Remember, your network is your net worth. That's why a rich person loses it all and gets it back real quickly. He's got rich friends. And some poor slum wins the lotto and can't give it back fast enough. He's got to hurry up and dump that filthy fiat. So his poor network will accept him back again with open arms. They'll probably even pour him a drink and put a smoke in his mouth and say, "Welcome back, friendar." They don't say friendo in that community. They say friendar. I know, it's bizarro over there. All right, that's it. That is it. Thousandaire Radio, wicked shout. Join the pen pals. You can now write me at The Thousandaire Collector, 1700 Sullivan Trail, Suite 7, Box 111, Easton, Pennsylvania, 18040. Don't forget to include your info so I can put you on my mailing list.
Daddy handed me a worn-out book, said, "Boy, there's more than luck. Learn me about a man in Babylon who never once got stuck. He said gold will come to the working hand if you save a tenth of all you earn, my man." And I've been picking that old guitar since I first took that lesson to heart. Gold don't stray from a wise man's way. It follows where the good plan's laid. It multiplies when it's put to use with care and thought, not reckless abuse. It flees from fools and those who dream of get-rich schemes and risky means. But it'll stay with a man who stands with faith and skill and steady hands. Second law says make your savings grow. Don't let your treasure just sit slow. Put it to work, let it earn its kin, like horses breeding in a prairie wind. Then the third one hits like a freight train's roll. Protect your stash, don't lose control. Seek wise advice, don't play no game with silver tongues that promise fame. Gold don't stray from a wise man's way. It follows where the good plans lay. It multiplies when it's put to use, with care and thought, not reckless abuse. It flees from fools and those who dream of get-rich schemes and risky means, but it'll stay with the man who stands with faith and skill and steady hands. The fourth one's simple, don't forget. Only invest where the path is set, where folks know what they're talking about, not a shady deal you'll later doubt. And the fifth says clear, don't lose your coin to sweet talk tricks or a line conjoint. Gold don't stick around a greedy fool. It loves a man who keeps his cool. Gold don't stray from a wise man's way. It follows where the good plans lay. It multiplies when it's put to use, with care and thought, not reckless abuse. It flees from fools and those who dream of get-rich schemes and risky means, but it'll stay with the man who stands with grit and heart and steady hands. So here I am with calloused palms, a bank full proud and a soul that's calm. From Babylon streets to my country land, gold follows the work of a steady hand.